Benny the bear was no ordinary bear. He was known far and wide for his insatiable love for all things sweet and delicious. Oh no, this bear had a sweet tooth bigger than a beehive. He would often be found near beehives, savoring the golden honey, or sneaking into the kitchen to find a jar of the sweet treat. But his absolute favorite treat? Honeycomb Crunch cereal, of course. The crunchy, honey-flavored cereal was something he couldn't resist. Every morning, Benny woke up, rubbed his tummy, and gobbled down a giant bowl. It was his morning ritual, something he looked forward to every single day. But one day, disaster struck. Benny woke up, ready for his morning treat, only to find his bowl empty. Benny reached for his box of Honeycomb Crunch, but it was empty. His heart sank as he shook the box, hoping for even a single crumb. Benny scratched his head. Where could it be? He was sure he had a full box just yesterday. He checked the pantry. Empty. Not a single box of Honeycomb Crunch in sight. He looked under the rug. No cereal, just dust bunnies. Benny was getting worried now. Benny knew what he had to do. He couldn't just sit around and mope. He had to go on an adventure to find his beloved Honeycomb Crunch. With determination in his heart and a growling tummy, Benny set off on his quest. Benny grabbed his trusty compass and a red bandana. He tied the bandana around his head, looking very important. A true adventurer. Benny sniffed the air, hoping for a clue. He smelled pine needles, wildflowers, and... Wait! Was that a hint of honey in the air? Benny followed his nose. He marched through fields of sunflowers taller than him. He tiptoed past a family of grumpy-looking hedgehogs. Finally, he reached a clearing and saw something amazing. A giant beehive. Benny knew bees loved honey. He had often seen them buzzing around flowers and hives, collecting nectar to make their sweet golden treat. Benny's mouth watered just thinking about it. Maybe they knew where to find Honeycomb Crunch. Benny had heard tales of this legendary treat from other forest animals. It was said to be the most delicious honeycomb ever, with a crunch that was simply irresistible. He politely knocked on the hive. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The sound echoed through the forest, and Benny waited patiently, hoping the bees would be friendly and helpful. A sleepy bee peeked out. Its tiny eyes blinked in the sunlight, and it stretched its wings as if waking from a nap. Benny, using his loudest voice, which wasn't very loud, asked, "Excuse me, have you seen my Honeycomb Crunch?" The bee giggled, its tiny body shaking with amusement. Honeycomb Crunch? That sounds like something humans eat. The bee's antennae wiggled as it thought about Benny's question. "But I have a map to the tastiest honey you'll ever find." The bee's eyes sparkled with excitement as it shared this secret with Benny. The bee pointed to a map hidden under a leaf. Benny carefully lifted the leaf and saw the map, its lines and symbols promising a sweet adventure. Benny, thrilled, thanked the bee and set off again, following the map's squiggly lines. He couldn't wait to find the honey the bee had promised. With each step, Benny's excitement grew, and he imagined the taste of the honeycomb crunching in his mouth. The map led Benny through a spooky forest. He tiptoed past a snoring owl and hopped over a babbling brook. Finally, he reached a clearing. But instead of honey, Benny found something even better. There, in the middle of the clearing, was a giant honeycomb crunch factory. Benny couldn't believe his eyes. He watched in amazement as bears in hairnets and aprons used giant spoons to pour honey onto mountains of crispy cereal. It was a dream come true. Benny approached the factory, his tummy rumbling louder than ever. He had been searching for his favorite cereal, Honeycomb Crunch, all morning. The sun was high in the sky, and Benny's energy was running low. He knew he had to find it soon, or he'd be too tired to continue. He peeked inside and saw a friendly-looking bear with a big mustache. The factory was bustling with activity, and the sweet aroma of honey filled the air. Benny's eyes widened with hope. "Excuse me," Benny said. "I seem to have lost my Honeycomb Crunch." The bear with the mustache chuckled warmly, his eyes twinkling with kindness. "Don't worry, young one," he said. "We can help you find it." "Well, little fella, you're in luck," the mustached bear exclaimed. "This factory produces the finest Honeycomb Crunch in the entire forest. You're at the right place." "We have enough Honeycomb Crunch here to feed every bear in the forest," he continued. Benny's eyes sparkled with joy as he saw the large supply of cereal. He couldn't believe his luck. Benny learned that sometimes the best thing to do when you lose something is to ask for help. He realized that there are always kind souls willing to lend a hand if you just reach out. And that day, he learned something even more important. There's always enough honeycomb crunch to go around. Benny shared his newfound treasure with his friends, and they all enjoyed a delightful feast together, knowing that kindness and sharing make everything sweeter.